Ben & Jerry's announced a new Colin Kaepernick ice cream called Change the World, where world is obviously a play on words here because it's actually not world, but world. And you probably heard no difference in there, and that's okay. Thankfully, it's not Colin Kaepernick flavored ice cream. That being said, it still doesn't sound that appealing to me because it is going to be a vegan ice cream. Which I guess makes sense why, because apparently Colin Kaepernick himself is vegan. Now, before we go any further, I recognize that Ben & Jerry's as a private company can do whatever they want. And Colin Kaepernick as a private individual can also do whatever he wants. So there is no issue with them partnering up and making a new ice cream. The issue that I have is that when people continually push Colin Kaepernick forward as this hero or this person that we should idealize, well, I don't really agree with that. And if you think this move from Ben & Jerry's is not idealizing Colin Kaepernick, consider what they said when they made this announcement. Kaepernick represents the very best of us, willing to use his power and platform in the pursuit of equity and justice rooted in a commitment to love and resistance. Colin Kaepernick represents the best of us? I would certainly not go that far. Now, if you want to argue he's using his platform for something you agree with, that's fine. But let's not pretend that he's some sort of hero for doing what he's doing. Let's also not forget that sure, he is no longer playing in the NFL. And his Nike campaign said that you have to stand up for something even if it means losing everything. So perhaps he lost his career, but he found a much better career where people are saying that he is the best of us. So it kind of is a win-win for Colin Kaepernick. And he's not the only person that Ben & Jerry's thinks is important enough to have an ice cream. They also apparently really like people like Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Fallon. Because nothing says a hero or someone we should idealize like people who go on television late at night and make fun of people. Like sometimes they're kind of funny, I suppose, but why does that warrant them getting an ice cream? According to Kaepernick, 100% of the proceeds from this ice cream will go to the campaign that he founded called the Know Your Rights campaign. On their website, they have 10 points of rights that you should know that you have. And some of them kind of make sense, but other ones, like you have the right to be brilliant and the right to be courageous, I don't entirely understand how that works. That's like saying you have the right to be intelligent. Sure, you have that right, but saying you have it as a right does not mean it's necessarily going to happen. It just seems to me that he couldn't quite fill out the 10 rights that you should have, so he threw in a few that sounded good, but don't really make a ton of sense. Now, Ben & Jerry's, as a corporation, has been involved in activism for quite a while. For example, after George Floyd's death, they said that the murder of George Floyd was the result of inhumane police brutality that is perpetuated by a culture of white supremacy. They appear to agree with people like Robin DiAngelo, who claim that in America, we live in a white supremacist culture. And that's just the way it is, you just have to accept it. In a longer statement, they said that what happened to George Floyd was not the result of a bad apple, it was the predictable consequence of a racist and prejudiced system and culture that has treated black bodies as the enemy from the beginning. What happened to George Floyd in Minneapolis is because of 1619, and they go on and on and on. So essentially, they agree with Colin Kaepernick that America as a whole is a racist society. That it's not just one or two bad cops who have done things that are inherently immoral, but that overall, the police system is in fact racist. And because of that, we need to defund the police. They currently have that on their website right now. Now, as I said at the beginning, I have no real issue with Ben & Jerry's making their political views known. And they can use their money where they want to. If they want to work with Colin Kaepernick, if they want to use proceeds to defund the police, well, that is their prerogative. But I, as a consumer, will look at this page on their website and say that I don't agree with that. Because I don't want my money to go towards defunding the police or activism that I don't agree with, I'll stop buying Ben & Jerry's. Now, let's be honest here. I didn't buy Ben & Jerry's to begin with because I don't have that kind of money when it comes to ice cream. If I'm going to buy ice cream, I can't afford Ben & Jerry's because I'm poor. So, I wasn't going to buy from them anyway. Especially with all of this, it's even less likely that I'd buy from them. Let alone a vegan ice cream that Colin Kaepernick's face is on. Now, to reiterate one last time, the issue I have with things like this and the Nike campaign and all of that is that we're continually putting Colin Kaepernick up on a pedestal, pretending that he is the best of us, that he's some type of hero and we should look up to him. And I don't agree with that. This is the same guy who wore socks showing cops as pigs. It's also the same guy who is consistently saying that America is this racist, horrible place, that police are essentially racist, and we should defund all of them. These are not positions I agree with, and I don't think that he is some sort of hero for saying these things. So when this ice cream eventually does come out in 2021, I will not be buying it. Not just because it's Colin Kaepernick, and not just because it's Ben & Jerry's, but also because it's vegan, and if I'm going to buy ice cream, especially ice cream as expensive as Ben & Jerry's, well, I'm not going to go vegan. I might as well go full dairy. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.